Hello everybody. It is still Saturday, the 30th of July. So following on from my last video, considering the forces of the cosmos and the I Am. So now I want to think about how do you construct an I Am? What is the process you have to go through to become an I Am? And at the end of the video, because I want to show you that in the end, it leaves you with two different choices. Once you've gone through the process, it leaves you with two choices as to what you do with that. And those are actually definitions of God, those two choices. Actually, we only have one definition of God at the moment, which is God as a defined and the unchanging. There is actually another choice. But I'll come to that in the end. So how do you construct an I Am, and what is actually happening to you when you're born into this world? Yeah. And as I see it now, and this is again, it's not a definition of this is how it is. It's this is a possibility. Run with it or don't, but it will influence how of who you are. So what I think, when you are born into this world, you come as a defined article. You are an energy that has already been defined, maybe through former lives. So, and when you come into this world, the moment you come into this world, you are being impacted by all these other forces. Yeah? And really, depending on where you are born, you are impacted by different forces. And during the first 7 years of your life, all of this will go into you, like it or not. Yeah? You are not conscious. So you are in a state of just everything goes in. And at the end of the 7 years, you have become. So that's what the Jesuits say. There's the man or the woman after 7 years. And I think that hopefully we know what we're doing when we're coming here, and that we have agreed to that happening. We have agreed for that process to occur. So then by the end of the 7 years, we have actually grown. We have become more than we were when we first arrived. And both good and bad, what went into us, was good and bad. Indiscriminate. And we agreed to that happening. So then at the end, and there comes the moment of awakening. And that is not, as many people do now, you wake up and you look at the world and you say, what the hell? No. The moment of awakening, the true moment of awakening, it should be you wake up and you look at yourself. And you say, what the hell have I become? And how did I get here? How did this happen? And that is the moment where you can start, where you can actually start creating an I Am. Before that you can't. That is the moment where reason kicks in. This is the moment where Jesus is talking about being reborn in life. Not after death, in life. Recreating yourself in life. And for a lot of people that never happens. They are just being continuously impacted by all the other energies, and they will become according to, what's impacting them. And they take no charge of it. So And in the end, it is you are the master of your house. And that is what you must understand. You are the master of your house. They are not impacted by a great energy that tells you this is how you should be, and then you become. And that is how it's be, and that is how it is. No, you are the master of your own house. And you need to bring your house in order, basically. And that is being reborn. It's bringing your house in order to see what all went in. And then you decide. You're looking at all this stuff and you decide what is gold and what is clear rubbish. Throw it out. That is your choice. And if you want to become an I am, you need to make that choice. You need to be the one that makes the choices of what stays in and what goes out. So, what are all these forces that have impacted you in the first 7 years, or until the moment that you woke up? I would, for myself, I would put them into two categories. And one is nature forces, and the other is forces created by artificial constructs. Artificial forces. Yeah? So, nature forces. If we say that every, as I said in my video before, that every energies or energies that have to find themselves into a form and then exert their own unique energy on everything else around them. So nature energies are are then the energies of the rock, of the plant life, of the animals, of other people, and the cosmos. We are affected by what's coming from the stars. So those would be the nature energies, and then the energies that are created by thought constructs that exert their own energy on you. So what do you want to keep in? And again, entirely up to you. Just understand the process. It is for you to decide what is gold and what is rubbish. So, I mean, you have the way, and that is the way of the Eastern religions mostly, the yogis. And I'm thinking about, well, I've forgotten his name, but this guy that put himself into a cave for decades to find, I don't know what, his own true essence, because he had actually really tried to get away from all the other influences, to really extract himself from nothing going in. And what do you find then? Well, what you find is because he did not go in there as a child. So what he found was, first of all, what he had become. And even in that state, he was not completely detached from everything else because, alas, the poor critter had to eat. So he was still contaminated by the energy of this world. So I don't know, from what I can see, all you can find out at that moment is what you have become at that moment in time. You kind of freeze yourself, in a moment. This is what I've become and I'm going no further. It's a choice. It's a way. The other thing is you stay in this world. But you, as I said, you start thinking of what was it that impacted you. The forces of nature, and especially the artificial constructs. And here comes the John Lennon song. Very much so. Imagine there's no country. Or I'd say, imagine, do not be influenced by any political energies, viewpoints, thoughts. Yeah? because you may have become a communist, a socialist, Democrat, whatever. And that has become a very big part of you. It has integrated itself into what you are. You could throw that out. You could throw, well, verse 2, imagine no religion. Yeah? This whole thought construct of the bigger being that tells you what to do. And it's written in its book what it is you should and should not do. And you have migrated into that energy, and you've become, or at least you're trying to become according to it. For the most part, it's actually that much against your nature. It's very hard to do. But you see, there's a conflict between the nature forces and the forces of the artificial constructs, especially in religion. There's a big conflict between them. So imagine there's no religion. Kick that out. Last verse, imagine no possessions. Or actually, imagine have no economic considerations. Kick economic considerations out of how you see yourself in this world. Don't let economic considerations be part of your counsel inside of you. So kick that out. I mean, if you really want to go as far as Jesus, you can kick out the laws of physics. At what point, have you thrown out too much? I don't know. But that is what you do. You choose what is actually impacting you. You see the forces that are impacting you and are trying or have become a part of you. And then you take parts of yourself away and maybe let other parts come in or become more strong, because if you take something out like religion or like economics or like politics, I mean, it will leave a void that then might be filled by something else. But this is constructing an I am in life when you are in charge out of your own reasoning, according to yourself. You have decided what is rubbish and what is gold, and you're not being told by something else. I mean, if you leave the forces of nature inside of you and they become a part of you, they stay a part of you, then you would say the knowledge derived out of the forces of nature is gold. The knowledge derived out of the artificial constructs is rubbish. Up to you. Just know that this process, that you can go through this process and the parts of it, what you should actually be doing. So, and then we come to the end of this process where we have in some way defined ourselves by bringing our house in order, by taking out thoughts that were created by certain energies, by allowing other thoughts in. And then at the end of this process, and here we go, and there is the definition of God, because there's two ways you can go from there. And out of that, there are two different views of what God actually is. And first of all, we have God, and that is the God of the Bible. God as the defined article. And the one that has become the rock. Yeah? This is who I am. Nothing else going in, nothing else going out. This is it. And according to what I am now, I will exert my energy on this world. that is a possibility. I think that is a possibility. It'll be very hard to do because obviously the other forces are still around you all the time. So you really have to find a way, really live in a nutshell, so that nothing else can come in. But that is one way, and that is the definition of religion, of God, especially of the Judeo-Christian religion at the moment. That's the definition of God. The defined article that is now eternal and that will never move again. The other thing you could do is that once you are aware of this process and you're starting working this process, and at the beginning it might be very hard, even to decide what to throw out and what to keep, or, not to let what you've already decided is rubbish, let it come back in. But once you are a master of this process, you become a master of this process, then you could define, and you could say then, I just keep it as an ongoing process. I do not define myself at this moment in time, but I just keep going. I just keep doing it. And then you would have God as the defined article, as the rock, never changing rock, versus God, the accomplished shapeshifter. Those are both possibilities as far as I can see. And, well, I leave it at that in this video. So that is, to my mind, the choice that you've been left with in the end. What do you do with that mastery? I mean, you have actually acquired a skill of cleaning your own house. So what do you do with that? And also, how do you decide what to let in and what to throw out? Just according to yourself? Or according to others around you? How does it impact them? How does what you are becoming impact them? I mean, you can already reason, you can already predict outcomes. So there's another consideration. And God, the defined article, I am, and I will do according to myself, and to hell with the consequences, because your energy impacting on everything else will have consequences. Well, to hell with that. I am that I am. Or again, versus God, the shapeshifter, that says, well, I will consider others, and I can constantly adjust what is inside of me to serve me, yes, but hopefully without creating conflict with everything else. So sometimes maybe less is more. If you have less that you can enjoy in peace, rather versus having everything and living in conflict. Considerations, but I'd say it's up to you. You are the master of your house. Be aware that that is something you can do. And be aware that maybe at the end it leaves you with two choices, two ways. Anyway, I leave it at that for now. And in my last video, I want to talk about how the powers that be have worked this out. Understand this. And how they are working one way, and that is the way of the dog God defined, which is the way of conflict. And for themselves, David Icke says they're shapeshifters. Yeah, they are. Because for themselves, they work it the other way. Anyway, I talk about that in the last video for today, and talk to you again soon. Bye.